Folks, now, next up is another talk, and this time it's by a chartered engineer, and she has moved into the field of project management and agile and program management. We will now be having a talk by Ishari Siriwardane, General Manager, Digital Transformation Projects of Sri Lanka Telecom, right? And as Ishari comes up, there is one more thing, folks. There is a gratitude tree, right? So we pay gratitude to people who help us learn. So you can do the same for the speakers that you just saw. You will be given certain stationery to do that. The team will distribute that. And please take some time to do that. And hang on tight. Ishari is going to take you through her experiences. All right then. Are we good to go?
Hello, good afternoon everybody. As Praja introduced, my name is Ishari Siriwardane. I'm working for Sri Lanka Telecom. I have been working in the telecommunications sector for 20 plus years. So I've been in sales, customer support, solutions, designing solutions for enterprise customers. Now I'm actually heading the Digital Transformation Projects Division in Sri Lanka Telecom, driving the company's digital transformation program, as well as doing some of the digitalization initiatives for the government of Sri Lanka in its, building the digital economy. So that's a brief about myself. So let's move on to today's topic that I'm intending to cover today. It's fostering a culture of agility and the role of leaderships to drive the transformation. I think I'm being time boxed for 40 minutes, but I'll try to finish my presentation within 25 to 30 minutes. And finally, we'll do a little bit of an activity also if time goes on well, as I expect to complete. So within the next 25 to 30 minutes, what I intend to cover is, my presentation will be on the telecommunications sector, because that's where I have the experience on, and how we have started our Agile journey is the main theme that I wanted to cover. So I'll just briefly explain you about the industry, the telecommunication industry in Sri Lanka, and a little bit about the company that I work for, Sri Lanka Telecom, and also some of the challenges, key challenges we face in the telecommunication industry, and how we envisage to overcome those challenges and also to, move through our future ambitions. And then also how the leaders would support this whole transformation. And finally, I'll wrap up with 2 case studies, one from my company as well as one from another telco. So that's the plan. So first of all, I'll just take you through a brief overview of the telecommunication industry in Sri Lanka. So as you can see, in Sri Lanka, the mobile penetration is over 100%. We can be very proud of. And also in terms of the telecommunication technology, especially in the mobile industry, we are comparable with the world. We have, although the 5G licenses has not been issued in Sri Lanka yet, Mobitel has about 50 odd sites being trialed in Sri Lanka, so we have the 5G experience delivered, as well as I think Dialog has more sites than us. So we are in the forefront of the technological evolutions, and we are comparable with world in terms of technology, especially in the telecommunication industry. But the sad stories, you can see from 2020 to 2021, there's a heavy growth, but the subscriber base is declining. So we have over 27 million connections in Sri Lanka, which is over 100% in terms of the population, but the growth rate is coming down. And it's even sad when it comes to fixed lines. We have 5.5 million households in Sri Lanka, and where we have connectivity given to about over 2 million subscribers, households, but again, it's a declining trend. In terms of the broadband, you can see we had a peak, but now it's tapering off. So although there's a growth, the growth is stagnant. I think if you all were there in the morning session, even our chairman said one of the key challenges that we have is the declining revenues coming from our traditional services. And also the OTTs, like the Google, the Facebook, they are actually riding on top of the telco infrastructure and doing so well, where their market capitalization is very high compared to us. So we are a capital-intensive industry. We need to rigorously invest money to build our networks, bring in new technologies, as well as to fuel the consumers as well as the enterprises to run their operations. But yet, we are facing challenges in terms of managing revenues, managing the ARPU, the average revenue per user, as well as keeping our customer base intact, because the switching costs and the churn rates are quite high. Switching costs are quite low from a customer perspective, but the churn rates for us is quite high. So that's the typical industry overview. It's not only in Sri Lanka, even globally, this is the same story. So a little bit about the company. I think everybody knows what Sri Lanka Telecom is, but there are a few friends who are not from Sri Lanka. So I just wanted to briefly introduce my company to them as well. So we are a blue chip company listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange. We have more than 50% of the shares in Sri Lanka Telecom is held by the government of Sri Lanka. The balance is held by Maxis Malaysia. And we are a group of companies where the holding company Sri Lanka Telecom. We provide fixed line services. Mobile services are being provided by Mobitel, as well as we also provide IPTV content. And we are the market leader in the enterprise segment. We provide all the data services, data centers, cloud services, and enterprise solutions. We have over 500,000 base in terms of PSTN customers, and also in terms of mobile subscribers, we have over 7 million customers. So that's a bit about our company, and we are a 165-year-old company, and we have 6,000 plus employees in our organization. So the challenges. So as I showed you earlier, so we have declining revenues. Our average revenue per user is coming down from our traditional connectivity services. So every telco, not only in Sri Lanka, across the world, are looking at going beyond connectivity. So our ambition, most telcos have in today's context, is to transform ourselves from a telco to a techco organization, just to be like the Googles, the Amazons, and all that, and look at services, solutions beyond connectivity. So that's our ambition. So in order to go through this transformation, obviously we face quite a lot of challenges. One thing is the market dynamics. I think a lot of speakers spoke about the changing needs of the customers. Even in the morning, we saw customer ambitions, expectations are changing, and they are requiring personalized services. So even with telco, what they would like is not a standard package from us, but how can they really customize, how can they really pay for the value that they get out of the service that we deliver. So personalization is a necessity, and also a seamless experience across all of the channels that they interact with us. It could be digital channels, it could be the physical channels, it could be a call center that they have the interaction with us. And also, they are looking at smart and secure services. So trust and privacy is a big concern. So we need to cater to that as well. And also the technologies. So from the morning itself, we spoke about AI and so many other technologies. So technologies are evolving, and as telcos, who are the enablers of technology for all of the other companies as well as individuals, we need to keep abreast of all of these changes happening in terms of the technological advancements. And also the upgrades and the innovations that has to happen. We need to ensure that our networks are optimized, better performance is delivered, and also we have internal improvements, efficiencies, and productivity within our company to manage the costs. And we also we are a highly regulated industry, not only in Sri Lanka, across the world. So there are certain compliances, and the regulations are becoming tighter. Even in Sri Lanka, I think you all know we have this Personal Data Protection Act, and privacy have become a biggest concern than ever before. So we need to comply with all of those regulatory and legal requirements. and also the competitive pressure. It's not only from the telcos itself, from the OTT players, the hyperscalers. We all have competition from all different angles. And managing talent, like every industry, every company is facing. We also have problems with culture, innovation, and inability to adopt agile within our organizations, and also becoming customer-centric. And also, the infrastructure development, as I mentioned earlier, we are a highly capital-intensive industry, so we need to influx capital investments all the time to develop our networks, keep up with the technological changes, and so that's not an easy task. So these are the challenges that we face in our industry. So some of the key strategies that have been adopted as a whole in this telco to techco transformation journey is that we are looking at avenues of, first of all, building a digital strategy. So we are looking at beyond connectivity, looking at providing solutions beyond the legacy voice, data, internet services that we provide. So for that, every company is now looking at a digital strategy, having a digital transformation team, and also developing a strategic blueprint and a roadmap to implement. And also AI and data analytics, because I think as telcos, like banks and many other industries, we hold the personally identifiable information of customers. So we have a lot of insights onto the customer behavior, and we collect a lot of data. So how do we really use data to generate new insights, as well as to provide a personalized experience, as well as to look at new solutions where we can monetize data is something that we are seriously looking at. And also adopting an innovative and an agile culture, and also to ensure that we deliver a personalized experience to the customers. And gone are the days that companies or industries can only work along within their sector or industry. So we need to look at collaborations, build partner ecosystems. Through that only we can succeed. So that is something that we are also seriously looking at, and also optimizing our internal costs and networks so that we can bring down the costs as well as improve the productivity and enhance the efficiency. So these are the key strategies that we have adopted. So in doing all of that, embracing agile transformation has become a necessity for us. So when we talk about agile in different contexts. How do we make our people to work in an agile way? How do we develop an agile-based culture within the organization? And how our leadership can also be agile. And do we also have agile strategies? Because gone are the days where we can plan for 5-6 years. So we need to look at how the market is changing, how the customer needs are changing, how the technology is evolving, and whether we have strategies which are quite flexible and adaptable based on the external environmental conditions. And also the governance framework within the organization to cater to different requirements, like the Personal Data Protection Act we got. So there are certain governance that we need to implement within the organization. So by looking at agile in different contexts, of course, we can look at operational agility as well as the business change agility. So in this whole context of implementing an agile culture within the organization and having that business agility, what would the leaders, how could they support, and how should they transform themselves to support this whole endeavor is something that I'll be taking you through as the next part. So first of all, the expectation from the leaders to drive this whole transformation, they need to set the vision and strategy for the organization. So they need to articulate a clear vision, and also that vision has to be communicated across the organization. Every employee should know what is actually expected out of them, and how their work is being tied back to achieving the business objectives of the organization. And so that is very important, and they need to lead by example also. They also need to have agile practices being practiced as leaders so that the employees can look up to them and adopt themselves as well. And then the empowerment and trust. So fostering a culture of trust and giving the autonomy and the empowerment to work and to make decisions swiftly and to adapt to changes is something that we need to look at. Now, the practical scenario is that we have 6,000 plus employees, a 165-year-old company, so it's not easy to do that. So this has been one of the biggest challenges that we had, and we are very hierarchical, bureaucratic. So to break away from that and to have those self-governing teams established has become one of the biggest challenges for us. And also the continuous improvement. So you need to encourage a mindset of continuous learning and improvement, where the leaders should obviously support and create an environment where they have these iterative processes, testing and all that is being done. And then, most importantly, how do we facilitate collaboration and communication? So how can leaders enhance collaboration, communication across diverse teams, across cross-functional teams, and how they could facilitate driving the innovation and helping them to become problem solvers. So in order to do that, actually, now, Sri Lanka Telecom, together with some of the global telcos, we are actually part of a forum which we call the TM Forum. There we have all of the telcos, like 800 plus members are there. So this TechCo transformation is something that is being discussed at global level. So Sri Lanka Telecom is also part of it. And we actually look at this, there's this core project where we have these cross-functional teams working together and creating this organizational alignment. We call the TCOD, that is the TechCo organizational design. There we actually specifically look at how the leaders within telco organization can really support this agile transformation. So there actually, we have identified the type of skills that leaders should possess in terms of the leadership style. So there's no one size fits all or specific style that a leader should adopt. It has to be a combination. One thing is the compassionate leadership, where you actually become empathetic and you provide the emotional support for the subordinates so that you can create a safe environment. Because if you don't have that safe environment, a safe to fail culture, where you encourage employees to innovate, come up with new ideas, try out new things, it could fail, but then you fail fast, learn from those mistakes, and then you move on. So if that environment is not created, obviously you cannot expect employees to work and innovate and adapt and be flexible. And then the servant leadership, that's another aspect that you need to practice, where you facilitate an environment where employees can collaborate. And empathetic leadership, also having the empathy and enhancing the engagement and again the safety, and also the emotional leadership. So it has to be a combination of all of these, not one. And I think, it was spoken, Deshan also spoke about wisdom. So according to a Harvard Business study, ideally the leaders are supposed to operate in wise compassion. Like, there are 4 quadrants, but it has to be wise compassion, because through that only you can have human-centered decisions and problems being solved for very tough tasks, but that can only be done if you look at the problems in a wise way, where you can push employees to achieve certain things, but at the same time you solve problems in a human way. So by doing this and adopting this type of a leadership style, of course, in organizations, you would really have a set of employees who would be more engaging and who would also be satisfied. And also, they will have a continuous learning environment at the core, and they would have an increased adaptability. With that, of course, organizations can become high-performing organizations, and you will also be able to achieve the organizational agility. And at the same time, you, as an organization, you would also be able to have the strategic alignment and accountability, while providing the trust and creating the trust among the employees, as well as empowering them to work. So this is kind of like the type of leadership style and how it could overall impact the organizational agility, which was a sort of an outcome of a particular project that was done and engaged by a lot of telcos. So with that, I would like to share some of the work that we are doing, as well as because we have just started our Agile journey. And so we are at the very early stages of this whole Agile transformation. I'd like to share 2 case studies about SLT Mobitel as well as a more mature telco who have gone a long way. So the first case study is from Sri Lanka Telecom Mobitel. So we just started our Agile transformation journey last December or so. So the type of pain points that we wanted to solve, because through Agile, of course, you cannot solve all of the problems. I don't think that's a myth, at least in the telco industry. But we looked at some of the key issues that we have, and having that Agile culture within the organization, how it would help to improve overcome some of the barriers that we have, is something that we have looked at. So there are some of the key pain points that we identified was usually our product development cycles are very, very long. So we take about 3 to 6 months to come up with a new product. That is, if everything goes well. Sometimes it even goes beyond that. So in this fast-paced world, and looking at, becoming a techco and looking at a digital portfolio, this has become a critical challenge for us. So because of that, we wanted to come down on the product development cycles, and we wanted to improve on the time to market. And also, like I said, we are a 165-year-old company owned by the government some time back, went through a privatization process. So we are very siloed in our business operations, and it's very difficult to have cross-functional team collaboration within the company. So that was one of the biggest problems that we have. And also the customer centricity experience and the personalization demand that comes from the market. So that again is a big challenge for us. How do we cope up with that to ensure we deliver a seamless, personalized experience to the customers? And also, when it comes to the digital portfolios, we need to have a digital operating model within the organization. So building that also has become a challenge for us. So to overcome that, what we did was we identified, we have started this, it's a phased out approach. We are not looking at entire company-wide transformation initially. Since we are big, there's a high risk if we don't get it right in the first place. There's a likelihood of a big failure. So because of that, we looked at 3 customer-facing value streams. That is lead to contract, order to fulfill, and concept to market. And we identified 20 champions who are more suitable to become the change agents for us. And we took a blended learning approach where we actually guided through and taught them these Agile principles and all of that. And then it was like part of a module was taught in a classroom-based training. And then we got them to go back to the workplace and practice that within their working environment, and training and coaching the subordinates under them. So actually, that's how we have started doing it. And then we have set the work arrangements, the KPIs, the work breakdown, and using visualization tools and monitoring and all that. Right now, we are in the process of establishing the governance structure to monitor the 3 value streams where we are converting to Agile. So the business outcomes that we wanted to achieve is to improve the time to market to less than a month, and also to have encouraged the cross-functional team collaboration. So all of these Agile teams who are working in these 3 value streams, they are cross-functional teams working together, and also to improve the customer experience and the delivery timelines, and also to create data-driven insights, because we are monitoring the work that is being done, the bottlenecks are being identified through visualization tools and all of that. So that's about SLT Mobitel. This is a more mature telco where they took a whole organization-wide transformation approach for Agile implementation. This is Park, New Zealand. So what they did was 40% of the employees in their company, they actually formed cross-functional tribes where they had IT, network, product, marketing teams, digital teams working in cross-functional teams. And with that, they were able to down the organizational silos and ensure enhanced collaboration across the organization. So with that, they were able to have a cultural change where they went transformation beyond just looking at processes, but the people-wide, the mindset change they managed to achieve, and they also created an environment that engage employees and empower them to make a difference. And also they had 30 plus agile coaches within the organization who were really monitoring, supporting, training, and providing the guidance to the employees to work in an agile way. And that really helped us to help them to transform the organization across all of the business units. And the business outcomes that they achieved was they also increased the time to market was improved, and also the customer experience was improved, and also the employee engagement and the satisfaction and the productivity of the employees were also enhanced. So that's all what I wanted to share. So just to summarize what I presented, one thing is, business agility is actually the cornerstone for every organization. If they want to stay competitive and innovative, of course, you need to calibrate your organization and embrace agile so that you can remain competitive as well as you can continuously innovate. And also you need to find out what are the key pain points that you have as an organization and how you can apply agile, because every organization is unique in its own way, and every organization would have their own set of pain points. So it's not just a cookie cutter model that you can just pick it up and adopt it to your organizational context. Every scenario is different, the way people work is different, the culture is different in organizations. So you have to carefully select what are the key pain points that you have which hinders you from achieving your business objectives and the strategy that you want to achieve overall, and then how would Agile help you do that transformation is something that you need to really look at. And at the heart of every successful Agile transformation, lies the leadership. So leadership is very, very important. Unless you have proper leadership guidance, driving from the top, you will not be able to be successful with your Agile implementations. And also when it comes to leaders, they themselves has to adopt a proper right style of leadership in managing the people. Also, you need to have the maturity level of leadership to drive the transformation, and the skills and the talents that are also required, which are pivotal to drive the Agile transformation. So with that, I would like to wind up my presentation. I hope I'm on time. So I just wanted to just reflect back on the presentation that I did and I want you all to try it out and see how this can be applied to the context of your organization. So you can brainstorm on the industries, because I know I come from telco, but you would be coming from different industries altogether. And if you can probably identify the challenges that you face in your industry or your company, and how Agile methodologies can help you overcome some of those key challenges that you face, and what type of a leadership role that you would be looking at to support this whole transformation. Is just 3 simple questions, and you have a Google form here, which probably you can take a few minutes and fill it up.
Everyone, sorry, won't make that mistake again. Are you okay getting the Google form? Thumbs up. Anyone with issues? Thank you, Ishari. You timed it perfectly. I think everyone has time to and let us have some good Q&A and discussion about it. Folks, hope you're busy writing down those points and questions. In the meantime, if anyone has a question for Ishari while she's on the floor, I can hand over the mic as well. Question? This is being agile, right?
Thank you, Praja. So at the beginning of the session, I think you explained about the declining revenue of the company, which may be as a result of declining subscriptions or the usage of existing subscriptions. So as a company, have we done any root cause analysis to see why that declining trend of the revenue?
Yeah, now there are multiple reasons for it. One thing is, telco services are becoming commoditized. So because of that, unless otherwise you have a differentiation, there's no way that you can, charge a margin. And we are also regulated, so that the prices sometimes are determined by the regulator of the country as well. So Telecommunication Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka, they also have this ceiling price, the maximum price that we can charge from customers. Recent downward trend is mainly because of the fact that the taxation policies of the government have also hindered people going for high package subscriptions and all of that, and to stay competitive also, because earlier we had about 5-6 operators, but the recent consolidations that happened in the industry, now we have come down to about 3 operators. So they also have, when we come up with a product, they have a competing product where they bring down the price. So likewise, there are huge price pressure that we have in the market, commoditization, tax regimes. So all that comes to the fact that the subscription, the revenues are coming down, and the subscriptions, of course, 22 million people, 27 million SIM connections in the mobile domain, right? So, I mean, even the growth rate will have to be saturated at one point, right? So we have reached that particular point, actually. That's where the issue is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjeev. I think there are some points for you, Ishari. I think the participants were having some points. Do you want to have a look at them?
I'll just, the responses that I got, we can probably summarize. So you have LB Finance and Virtusa, and there are some software companies and some banks. The sector is like IT, banking, software, manufacturing, and these were kind of like the problems that, the challenges that have been responded as, the process issues in the software development, rapid phase of change, dynamism, that's more to do with the market dynamics, I guess. Talent, of course, is a big challenge for every sector, I guess, and sometimes the leadership support also, which is, I think, very vital. The coordination, okay, right. So I think although we come from different sectors, industries, I think the challenges are more or less common to all of us, right? How would Agile help to overcome these challenges? So in terms of product development, adaptability to the changes, Agile transformation, mindset change. So those are like the not having the leadership support, adhering to compliance requirements, silos, leadership to think Agile. I think this is a summary of the responses that I received. Maybe I can see whether I can analyze it further at the back end and see whether there's correlations between different sectors and all that, and the responses that I receive. Okay then, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ishari. A round of applause. So, as always, now we would like Praveen, one of our dynamic members, to hand over the token of appreciation.